Disclaimer. All events, people, and some places in this video are fictitious. In other words, I made this stuff up. None of it really happened. It is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Furries! A seemingly innocent group of people. But among the herds of fluffy friends, there's always a dangerous wolf. Hello, beautiful people of the internet, I'm Mothman, and welcome back to They Make Monsters, where we tell the stories the media is too afraid to. Now, this month is Women's History Month, so we're going to be looking at the terrible case of Upton Winston-Usher, a man who loves other men. But before we do, a few announcements. First, I started a TikTok, where I'll be posting my short content, so go follow me there for your shortening attention span. Second, my partner started streaming on Twitch. You may recognize them as the voices of both Zachariah and Abraham in my second video. She plays a plethora of games like Valorant, Stardew Valley, and Celeste, but also other platformer and horror games. And contrary to their bio, they are not bad at games. I'll put a link in the description so you can go follow her. As usual, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below which animals you think you could take in a fight. Best comments will be shown to my dad, so make him proud. The best comment from my last video was... Thank you, Alina Schifrin. I think I did a great job using the 80s lingo too. Alright, now that all that's out of the way, let's get into it. Upton Winston-Usher was a 31-year-old man and NASA engineer. He attended Yale University and graduated early with a master's in physical engineering. He also met his husband at Yale, Owen William O'Boyle, who would go on to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. The two had a small house in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. But they had a dark secret. They were furries! But that, in and of itself, isn't a bad thing. After all the best scientists and engineers are furries. However, Upton took fursuits to a different, darker place. Upton had bought a shed just across the river in Maryland for his evil deeds. But before we get into that, let's start at the beginning, 3 years ago. Upton was just starting his NASA career when he met Ben Dover. Ben was an average man, and also a furry. Upton and Ben seemed to be normal work colleagues, but one day, something snapped in Upton. The stress of being a NASA engineer had gotten to him. And so, one spring night, when Ben was separated from his friends at a bar, Upton strikes. Upton thrusts his knife into Ben Dover's back 27 times, killing him. He stuffed Ben's body into his car and drove off to his newly bought shed. There, he put Ben in a red panda fursuit. He also cut off his genitalia and sculpted it into a model spaceship. Then he hung his creation on one of the walls that would later be nicknamed the Dick Wall. After the adrenaline had worn off from meticulously making a model spaceship out of small pieces of human flesh for hours, Upton swore he would never do something like this again and locked the shed. But unbeknownst to him, this would be the start of a new addiction. Upton tried to go back to work as normal, but things quickly got stressful again. He longed for the high that killing gave him. He tried to do other things, like yoga or the spa, but nothing matched the thrill of murder. In an interview, Upton once said, quote, "It's a great stress reliever, to be honest, and it's so addicting I just can't help myself. OwO. Watching the light leave your victim's eyes just soothes you over like their body going limp. If it wasn't illegal, I'd say everyone should try it. He. Eventually, Upton couldn't handle the stress, so he began planning his next kill, and sewing his new killer persona, a red and black wolf. Upton's next victim was Rebecca Kake, who went by her middle name, Boo. Boo was a waitress at Five Guys and worked the night shift, perfect for Upton's plan. In the dead of night, Boo was walking home alone from a long shift at work when Upton ambushed her. He knocked her unconscious with chloroform, then carried her into his car and brought her to his shed, where he started his work. This time, killing her wasn't enough. He wanted to really try this time. So, he made a new fursuit, a pink fox, and sewed her inside it. When asked about the fursuits in an interview, Upton said, quote, "I just feel what animal they should be off of vibes, he, asterisk blushes, asterisk. For some people, it's really obvious, like, nya, please make me a fox, OwO. And for others, I really have to get deep and feel what their animal should be. Rar." After Boo was trapped inside the fursuit, that's when the real torture began. Every night, Upton would return to his murder shed and subject Boo to slideshow presentations about physics. He would also waterboard her and choke her with a leash. But one day, he got bored of Boo and wanted someone new to play with. So, he poisoned her, threw her body next to Ben's, and began planning his next victim. Mike Hawk was very large, mainly because he was a champion bodybuilder. Mike's giant stature would be a challenge for Upton, though. But, being a NASA engineer, he was always up for a challenge. So one night, while Mike was walking home from a steroid injection, Upton crept up behind him and hit him on the back of the head with a particularly heavy bad dragon toy. He then stuffed Mike's body into a car and drove off to the shed. He sewed Mike up into a blue and black chicken and subjected him to the same horrible torture as he did Boo, and eventually getting bored and moving on. He repeated this cycle again with his next victim, Crystal Metheny, until one day it all came crashing down. Upton's husband, Owen William O'Boyle, began to get suspicious of Upton. He was worried that Upton was cheating on him when he disappeared at night. So he began investigating. Owen Williams began to track Upton's location. Meanwhile, Upton was on his fifth victim, Penny Tresean, who was given a red cat fursuit. However, Penny would be Upton's last victim because Owen Williams was on his way to an unsuspecting Upton. When he got there, he was stunned. He walked in on Upton choking Penny. After the initial shock had worn off, he called the police. In an interview about her experience, Penny said, quote, "Oh, I loved it. Being in that hot suit was like, when he would choke me with his leash, it would make me so excited that I would... The slideshows were kinda boring, though." Anyway, Penny was saved and Upton was finally brought to justice. On June 24th, 2018, Upton was brought to trial, which was broadcast on national television. Upton was charged with 4 counts of kidnapping, 5 counts of torture, 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 1 count of illegal parking. Upton pled guilty to all charges and was sentenced to life in prison without bail or the possibility of parole. And thus ends the case of Upton Winston-Usher. Again, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and always remember, I am not a furry. My partner might be, though. Anyway, this has been They Make Monsters. Thanks for watching, and have an amazing day.